So one of the more interesting things is the weekly videos that you upload onto the Canvas.
So do you watch them?
I do actually. Yesterday I went on your YouTube channel and I watched them. I also saw older videos that you had of
From a long time ago.
Yeah, and I saw the one with your daughter Sealy, the graduation video. That was sweet. And then it was like one of you and your two daughters. Mm-hmm. Anyways, those were cute. So how do you think these videos help the students in the community?
All right, so when I became an elementary principal, I had to make a bunch of changes. When I was at the elementary school, I took this job with no experience in elementary other than in 1977, I started kindergarten. Mm-hmm. Like my elementary experience was as an elementary student. Mm-hmm. Now, I had taught ESOL for a couple of years in Lawrence County, but all I did was test. I scared elementary students because they didn't know me, and I'm a guy with a beard, and I'm a coach. So maybe I just had whatever that presence was that was intimidating to a 5-year-old little girl that just moved from Guatemala. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I've got to get her to take a test in English, and she speaks no English, and I speak no Spanish. And so that was tough. Well, I speak a little Spanish, but not enough to qualify for a 5-year-old that needs to communicate with me. So I became an elementary principal, and I started asking people. I even sat with the teachers, and I said, what do we need to... Same thing I did when I came to Dalton High School. I met with teachers. I met with you, I believe. Mm-hmm. Start, stops, and continues. What do we need to start doing, stop doing, and keep doing? Mm-hmm. And so the teachers were like, we want the barn back, because it had rotted. We had a 10-acre farm at this elementary school, and hadn't been used in 20 years. And so they wanted a farm. They wanted a principal that made decisions, and they wanted a principal that would hug kids, because they said that the previous principal didn't hug kids. Well, I don't even hug my own kids. Like, I'm not a hugger. I don't hug. So I had to learn how to do that. Yeah. And the way I learned how to do it was I would just take a knee. So if I saw a kid, because little kids, they want to hug, they come at you with their arms out, extended. And so I would take a knee, and I'd hug them all. Now, it was inconvenient for teachers, but they liked it because they felt like I love their kids. Yeah. If I ever write it, I've already got a couple of book ideas in mind. One is The View from Under the Bus. That'll be one book, because I've got a lot of experience being thrown under there. But the other book is Find the Barn and Paint It Red. Like, figure out what needs to be done and do it the way it's supposed to be done. Like, our school colors were blue and white. If I'd have painted that barn blue, it wouldn't have had the impact. I made it look like a traditional barn from Old McDonald. And inside of it, we did a print-rich environment. We labeled everything in English and Spanish. We gave everything a color, a number, and a shape, so we could use it in classrooms. And I hugged kids, and I started making videos. Like, kids would say this, like, I'd be like, hey, what are y'all having for lunch? And a kid was like, man, we having this steak and gravy. Like, steak and gravy's good. And I'm like, oh, let me get that on film. So I videoed it. I was like, hey, y'all, what are y'all eating for lunch? Man, we're eating a steak and gravy. And what that did was it promoted the kid. It promoted the ladies in the cafeteria that were making steak and gravy. Mm-hmm. It promoted their teacher, because what a great job they were doing with these well-behaved kids. Yeah. And it said, I didn't realize this, but the feedback I got was, oh, he loves our kids. He painted a barn and got some goats, and he makes videos. He loves our kids. Mm-hmm. Well, I think you could probably not like kids and still make videos and get some goats. But it communicated something overtly that there was no other way for me to communicate. And so I started filming car riders, because car riders is funny, because people get mad. But when they're being videoed, they don't act as mad. Yeah. And so I would wear, my favorite costume was a purple onesie and a purple with feet, like with the feet built in, and a purple wig. And I would wear that to car riders. Now, that is really outside of my comfort or even my character, but they loved it. And so then I started collecting cat costumes. If you saw the one video from the morning announcements where I'm wearing, there's a big cowboy hat. I'd wear a big cowboy hat. I'd wear Elton John. You know who Elton John is? He's a singer from the 70s.
I'm too young.
Well, he does like Disney songs.
Maybe I know some of his songs.
Yeah.
I don't know it's him.
What is Elton John? What is the...
Can you feel the love tonight?
Oh, yes. From The Lion King?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he was flamboyant. He wore a duck costume. He wore these big glasses with like rhinestones encrusted, and he would wear big hats and whatever. So I started wearing those. And then they wanted to do the morning announcements, so we started doing the morning announcements. And the buy-in that I got from kids, like kids were like, "You gonna make video?" Third graders, like 8-year-olds were like, "Do you want to make a video? Let's make a video." So I just started making notes, and anything that we were doing, and they were funny. Like this one little boy, I was like, "It's career week. What are you going to be when you grow up?" He was like, "I want to be a garbage man because I want to ride on the back of one of them trucks." And it was just the cutest thing, and that probably got like thousands of likes. And then I made that video with my 2 little girls, and and I just posted it on I had very few things on it, but my teachers got a hold of it and started playing it for their students. And here's what's crazy is some of my students that had some disabilities, specifically if they were on the spectrum, if they had autism of any kind, they just latched onto it because of the repetition in it.
You were their hyper.
Oh my goodness. Well, I'd sit in the hallway and they would start singing "There's Ants in the Kitchen," you know?
Yeah.
And so here's the difficult thing about elementary school is if somebody's mean to you, you're almost an adult. Like you can adapt a little bit better than a 7-year-old. A 7-year-old who's being bullied or a 7-year-old who they don't have any defense mechanisms or any capacity they haven't developed the capacity to deal with obstacles yet. And so let's fast forward to the pandemic, 2020, March the 13th. It was Friday, March the 13th of 2020, when we were found out that we're not coming back. And we're all rushing to figure out how we're going to get these learning packets and this online learning going. And I had one parent come and say, "I'm so sad that we're not going to school." And I'm like, I had enough sense to ask why. And they said, "Well, my son who has autism loves the morning announcements, and he's going to miss the morning announcements." So I met with my admin team. I had 2 APs, and we were like, "We're just going to do the announcements." So we did the announcements. You can find them somewhere online. But we did announcements from March the 13th until the end of May. We had Hat Day. We would, and this was funny, I would say, "Hey, today's Hat Day. Make sure you wear your hat all day and mail me a quarter." You know, they mailed me quarters, which was crazy. So let me summarize. I did the videos because kids thought it was cool.
Yeah. And
they felt like they were being seen and heard in a way they couldn't even articulate. And then we did it through it's probably one of the most fulfilling things I've ever done is those videos during the pandemic. And I got promoted during that time to the high school. And when I got to the high school, I think I took myself too seriously. This was at East Lawrence. And I felt like, well, I can't wear onesies during car riders. I'm not going to hug you. I'm definitely not hugging kids. I'm not going to, I need to be respected. And so I got away from it. And I think it was reflected in the culture. Like, they never knew who I was.
Yeah.
And then fast forward, come to Dalton High School. Again, Dalton High School, I don't know. I couldn't even come into school until I was approved by the board, right? Because they didn't want it to look political, that I was a shoe-in or I just knew I had the job. They wanted me to wait for approval. And then I came in. That's when I found out we had a swimming pool and a theater. I've not ever been. Lithia Springs had a cafetorium. It was an auditorium in the cafeteria.
Yeah.
But nothing like it. Nothing like the facilities that Dalton has. But I was afraid to be myself, and I was afraid to be vulnerable, and I think that's critical. I think for people to see you as a human being rather than a position is really important. But that didn't dawn on me. I didn't have time. So school starts in August. I start July the 18th. I don't know any of the policies or any of the people. And then the next year, we reconfigure, so I get 900 new students, and we have to make a schedule for these 900 students. And I felt like it was my responsibility to do it. This summer, that was the last 2 years. This summer, I sequestered the APs in Chicago. We went to a conference, And I scheduled the airplane, and instead of scheduling the airplane on the Wednesday, when the conference was over, I scheduled it for Thursday evening. So I had the administrators, all the APs and instructional coaches, and the IB coordinator, Miss Brennan.
Mm-hmm.
I kept them, and I challenged them with, can we focus on, let's get our ducks in a row. Today, we're going to get our ducks in a row. We're going to be prepared for teachers, and we're going to focus on them. Let's continue to focus on instruction and safety within the context of focusing on people's lives. And they challenged me to tell my story. So at the beginning of this year, I did just that. I think it surprised a lot of the staff that, like, my history. So my past is not very little privilege and a lot of obstacles. And a single mom growing up in the projects, just struggling to make ends meet. And so I just shared my story. It was emotional. I cried the whole time because I was sharing information with people that are my biggest supporters, and at the same time they're my biggest critics. And I'm telling them stuff that I've hidden from the world for 50 years, and that's a tough thing to do.
Yeah.
To tell them that like at one particular point, my mom got addicted to painkillers, right? And I had to deal with that as an adult with kids. And I never shared that with anybody. My oldest daughter, Chesney, knew, but my youngest daughter, Celia, who graduated last year, she had no idea. Like, I hadn't even shared it with her. And so to share that with your biggest supporters and your biggest critics is a scary proposition. How are they going to accept it? Well, they're going to see you more as a principal or less of a principal because they rely on me. And what we were doing and what we're doing this year, and I'm sorry to take so long, but is to focus on their core values, and instruction's one of them. It's not the only core value.
Yeah.
And I really believe this, and I've been challenged with it this year since we've started doing it. I think vulnerability, I think a leader needs to be visible, accessible, kind, be willing to be vulnerable, be human, and that's hard. Like you see our politicians, they can't admit to any wrongdoing. And I'm telling them from the get-go that there's a good chance I'm going to mess a lot of this up.
Yeah.
That I need your love and your patience and your support as we go through this together. And that's a tough shift to make. So that's how we started it. And it was just perfect timing. We read a book, Culturize and Recalibrate, and it lent vocabulary to the way that we were all feeling. It was like we've got to, Culturize as being a champion for students, expecting excellence, carrying the banner, and being a merchant of hope. Boil that down, what it really means is investing in people, modeling the stuff you want to see happen. You create positive experiences, and you're a positive voice for people, and that you believe in them. And not just believe in them, but you got to believe in yourself. And so we took those four things, and it made sense to every one of us. Because that's what we try to do as coaches. And that's what we try to do as teachers. And it seems to have translated really well. I think there was a need for it. So that was a long answer. So the reason to do the videos, I think it lends a voice to students and to teachers. And it keeps this positive message that we're trying to communicate, it keeps it in front of people. And one of the biggest criticisms of principals or administrators is that you tell us something in July or August, and we never hear about it again. And I think we're just committed to hearing about it again. So like right now, the video I'm working on is the two instructional coaches. It's half English, half Spanish. It's Liz Mora and Sarita Hoy, they're doing it. And I've just got to drop a couple of things in. Mr. Gibson's music technology class made some music for me so that I can avoid the copyright issues and that sort of thing. But that's why it's a commitment that I'm making and that I'm asking my assistant principals to make, and through them asking teachers to make, and through them asking students to allow yourself to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
You don't have to be perfect. And there's a blessing in not having to be perfect because it allows grace and mercy.
Yeah.
And but I think we can be excellent even if we're not perfect. And that's what I want the videos to illustrate. As you notice, they keep getting better, except for the sound. And I need to get the little microphones. I think Miss Patrick has some of those.
Mm-hmm.
I think this one's better with sound. But so there's a technical part of it, and then there's a human element part of it. That I think that you get to see yourself. Even if you're not in the video, you see your friends, people that look like you, that are going through the same thing as you, that are your age, that go to this school. And I think that's important. So that's why I'm doing the video.
I think like one of the most important things about being like a leader or principal, is like showing the vulnerability, like you said. Like it's good for people to know that you're a human too, that you're a person too. I really like that you're doing the videos because like you said, like students really enjoy to see themselves. It kind of like it just makes it more known that like you're our principal, like you care about the students and you want to be like involved. I think like with like the Instagram pages, when we posted about homecoming and like the dress up days and stuff, like students really enjoy to just see themselves. I think it helps kids want to be like more active in school, participate in school, I think it just makes things like more fun, more comfortable.
Well, I think it's a risk, but I think it's a calculated risk. It's not the most dangerous risk. It's pretty safe. But at the same time, like every video that I put out there, I'm giving somebody that woke up mad a reason to be angry with me, and so therein lies the risk, but I think it's worth it. And like I said, I want to involve students. I like interacting with them. That's the thing I miss about teaching and coaching is I don't get to do as much of that. And I appreciate, I think Miss Patrick supports it because I ambush her probably once or twice a week to get students out of her yearbook class, to come help me do a video, like hold a prompt or hold something, do the camera. But that's what's really cool is I can't do it by myself. It takes other people. And I think that it kind of gives a glimpse behind the curtain and humanizes people.
Yeah. I think it's good. I like watching the videos. I think students do too. So I guess to kind of wrap things up, what are some of your goals that you have as we move into the new year?
To keep working on culture and climate, because I think teachers and students deserve it. They deserve to be in a place that they want to come to. But I also want to be a legitimate academic institution. So I want Dalton High School to be the best option. And there's other options, and I want to be the best option. And so I want, our goals are to keep getting better at safety and security, keep focusing on culture so that people feel valued. A sense of, our superintendent says, I don't mean to contradict him, but he says we've got to focus on customer service. And I want to take it a step further and say customer service to me seems reactive. I want to focus on hospitality. I want, when your mom or dad comes in to sign you out, for example, I want them to feel welcome. And then, of course, the academic, the instructional part is we want to get better at Tier 1 instruction, which Tier 1 instruction is what is the program of instruction, the curriculum that everybody gets. And then the other thing is literacy. I think that learning goes hand in hand with the ability to read. I think it's one of the best gifts that we can give any student we've got is the ability to think critically and read through something and decide for themselves. I know we're pressed for time. Let me ask you, Dalton High School, what does it mean to you?
Big question. I think for me, it's like I really love this school. I know a lot of students will say that they want to move schools and stuff. Maybe because of the person that I am. I really enjoy to be in a place, get to know people, not just the students, the teachers as well, to me, I don't really think of the building. I think of the people in it and the things that I've experienced and the things that I've learned. Even though it's not always been the best, I've complained, I don't want to wake up early or I don't want to take a test, like, I think Dalton High School will always be, like, a kind of memory for me. Like, even after I graduate, whatever kind of life I live, like, wherever I end up, like, I'm always going to look back and think, like, good things about the school. Because, like, oh, this is the school that I came from, you know, like maybe there's things that are better about it now. Maybe there's things that aren't as good. But, like, it's the place where I grew up. You know, my dad graduated from here. My brothers graduated from here. Like, if I were to have kids and I were to stay in Dalton, I'd want my kids to come here as well.
Yeah. I kind of wish all of them had come here. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you much.